Oh boy, is early. We got our coffee. We got a new quest. 20 white or black spells. Normally I like to use the coffee and quest segment to highlight a new deck, but we're on the quest to make master here. We're really close, and we're going to pick up where we left off with this blue-white control. Quick constructed from yesterday. If you couldn't tell, it's your boy Will. This is the Memory Lapse. A channel more or less devoted to getting back into Magic through the Magic Arena beta. I was lucky to have some time yesterday. I streamed. Unfortunately, I don't know how to stream or how to cache the streams or how to set up Twitch to like save them to be VODs later, because there were a couple games I wish I could have clipped for YouTube that were really, really epic. Playing this deck. With Cast Out, Settle, we can keep this because of the search. We're in a little bit of trouble if they're red. But Settle, depending on how they play, can be a nice get out of jail free card against them. So if you are a Twitch master of any kind, and you have thoughts for me on how to fix that for the future, I'd really appreciate it, because I wish I could have put some of that stuff on the YouTube channel, which I consider more of like my primary mode. Okay, so we have our Field of Ruin. If they flip this, it's not the end of the world. And I think we just have to play search here. We're not going to do anything else. We're all in on the Settle the Wreckage here being good enough. And it might just be we're taking 7 next turn. Yeah. And having a second one as backup is pretty good too. Okay, so we have to play this in land tap, so we have untap mana for Settle next turn. So this is going to line up with their Chapter 3 Benalia. And the only way this plan doesn't work is if they're the type of player... Ooh. Taking 11 now this turn. They're the type of player who knows not to just jam with all their creatures into 4 open mana on a white deck. And they may be. Especially since... I maybe shouldn't have cycled that, because my punish with them for them attacking with 1 creature would have been to play that, but... Alright, so we have to get lucky here. And they need to just indiscriminately jam with everything into an obvious Settle the Wreckage turn. This play is a lot better if I'm at like 7 life instead of 2, because they really have no incentive to attack with a lot of creatures. Well, that's more than I thought they would attack with. So Settle the Wreckage is essentially a really bad fog here now. Well, not really bad. We got rid of some stuff, but... Oh, no follow-up play from them is helpful. And Steal Away is helpful too. That is a good punish for them attacking with exactly 1 creature. And I think I need to hold off on Lyra. That's another line of play right here, is to just drop Lyra and hope they don't have an answer and they really can't attack into it. But I think I want to do 1 more turn, sealing or settling. Their only follow-up play is to make a token off Adanto. So we had a 7-0 with this deck yesterday and a 7-1, and that got us through Diamond 2. into Diamond 1, and then I assume the next tier is Master, but I haven't really looked at what their... Since the rating means nothing, I have not looked at. So we're probably going to be forced to settle here, unless they attack with exactly one creature. Yeah. And I think almost certainly now we're going to have to play Lyra next turn. And hope that they don't have their own, cast out. So they've messed up their attacks, I think, a little bit here. They've always been sending with one too many creatures. We do want to flip this because we're monolite, and we do want to find more land. Alright, so if they have an answer to this, bad news for us. If they don't, I think it's pretty hard for them to attack through it. And by I think it's pretty much impossible for them to attack through it. That's a good sign. Okay. Oh, I'm still dead, huh? Shoot. This thing got so big. If this was not 5, yeah, I didn't think that between the dunes and... Wow, yeah, so they more than had it. That's too bad. Pretty close considering our slow start. But we're at least already at 4 wins, so we're not losing any gold on this event. Let's just hope we get our next white. Plenty of lands in the deck, 27 lands. I made a couple small changes yesterday. I took out... I was playing 3 Syncopate. I took one out to add in a second Essence Scatter. So now we're doing 2 Negate, 2 Essence Scatter, 2 Syncopate, 4 Cancel as the counterspell suite. And I cut the Arch of Vraska for a 3rd Field of Ruin. Because more often than not, like by the time you have Arch going, you have a flipped Escansa, and it's pretty much almost always better to use the Escanta. It's cheaper and it gets you like a guaranteed or an almost guaranteed good card. And the Field of Ruin is so good against almost every deck you're going to play against. Like, it's even valuable against red deck to remove these. This is going to be a great coffee and quest where we just play nothing 2 games in a row and die to creatures. This is one of the cards we needed to draw, for sure. We can win this again if they donk out and attack with everything. We don't have a punish, unfortunately. Looks like they're gonna just swing with everything. Oh no. Alright, if we're only taking 2... We're only taking 2. No, bad draw. Our hand just needed to draw a straight land, and did not get there. This is so awkward. So they're playing around it. If I had drawn a land, I could have at least played Gideon or something and tried to bait, like, a bigger attack. There's an issue with Lyra, so I think I need to settle here. The problem with playing Lyra is that they get to exert this, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have to settle here, as weird as this is, just so that I can slam Lyra next turn and I won't be dead to the exerted on Crop Crasher. With this game, I think would have been easy if we had drawn 1 seal away for one of those earlier turns, like grab the Kenra. Oh, that holds us. Alright. Yeah, we lost. I'm just gonna start a new event because this is easily the best deck that we have available to us as far as wins. Those games were not very illustrative. We cast 4 total spells across 2 games. Oh, Lox Amber. Let's go. It's tough. It's, you know I mentioned this a lot, but it's very tough with best of 1 to ship hands that are like 3 lands, 4 spells. I found it to be really tough. At least we have some 2-drops here. Especially in a... I mean, keeping hands like this, I think it's hard to ship these two, because you have 27 lands. Alright. Our opponent goes down to 4. That's not good. RIP. Ooh, Sacred Cat. I mean, if we break on lands, this could be a game. At least we have counter spells from this point out. Alright, just in case we want to do a bigger Syncopate. I don't want to do... We're at such an advantage, I don't want to make a greedy play like playing the Memorial here and accidentally letting them like resolve something. That matters. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so we continue to make our land drops here. Scaling up to Teferi. I should probably just counter whatever they play here. Just so there's one less thing on the board for Teferi. If they have any play at all. They'll probably flash this back. No? Okay. So we'll plus Teferi, leaving up Syncopate, Nest, and Scatter. They do have a window to cast out, if they have it here. Drawing land is good. They're just going to sacrifice. Play another Costly Plunder? No. So if you saw our opponent's little ranking emblem there in bronze, so that probably explains some of their card selection here. I take that to mean that they were probably added within the last week to the beta, and so, you know, the matchmaking is still not perfect. It sucks to go up against someone who's spent money, who's almost like at the top rank when you've only just started playing the game. And that's just a solution, something that they're going to have to find a solution to long term. So I don't see a good reason not to jam Lyra here. I played the Field of Ruin before the Teferi because I'm bad. You should always plus... If you're going to plus Teferi, you should always plus it first, see what land you get. Oh, an old pro player told me that trick yesterday during the stream. Alright, so I'm doing this more as an act of mercy. Like, this is just going to be something that they probably can't beat. And just to close the game out faster. I'm trying to play blue spells, right? I think I've only gotten to play one. Well, this deck is not the maybe best suited for just jamming through the quest, but we want to get wins and we want to finish off our rank. Because once I get to master and I don't have to deal with like the psychological horror of that bar moving up and down every time I play a game, I'll be a lot happier to like try out cool decks. Alright, so that probably seals the game for us. I have to imagine. Countering there. Okay. We're just gonna win off Lyra. Tap these, so they send to untap. And I have to discard one card. I'll discard the settle. I'm so lucky to live above this little, not directly above, but there's this little deli on the corner. And they make the best coffee regular. I usually don't like hot coffee, but this place, it's good. It's got a lot of sugar in it, I'm pretty sure. Alright, 2 points to Gryffindor. If there ever was a Gryffindor Planeswalker. Oh, maybe he's more Ravenclaw. Alright, well, in the name of playing another blue spell, so they're trying to play kind of like a token sacrifice deck with things that have, when they go to the graveyard, triggers, and maybe they have like a reanimation side too. I'm just gonna get this out of my hand too, just because I don't want to have to discard and get that ruin right off the board. Even if they had kept 7, I'm not sure that their deck would have been able to deal with this draw. Or just the general card quality of this deck. It's only until end of turn. I can live with that. That was a -1/-1 counter. Then I probably would have negated. This is a card I actually do want to play with, because I think it might be okay. This is a card I want to play with once we have sideboards. Okay. Teferi is just a Howling Mine for us this game. So I'm not looking to ult. Unlike other matchups where we need to race to get this to 8, we have a resolved Lyra. Interesting. Helm of the Host. I haven't seen a creature out of their deck that would seem like a really scary combo with yet, but, you know, we've only seen 14 cards of their deck. To their credit, they're not scooping. Most players would scoop to this like pretty quickly. This is a very strange. If there might be a flavor reason why they designed the +1 this way. Untap 2 lands not optional. It's a very interesting design choice by them because it creates this weird, weird dynamic where the Teferi player has to tap their own lands for nothing a good deal of the time, so they can untap them and not have to untap their opponent's lands. And I wonder if that case, like, I honestly wonder if that was something that made it through development, and they just played with the card as if it was optional, and then the wording never got changed, and then they went to print, and now they're just like living with that, just living with this text errors like that in a game like this have impact because of the rules interpretations. That would be my guess, though. So we will let this Angel resolve, and then we're going to cast it out with the trigger on the stack. So they're targeting our Lyra. So because of the way they changed the wording on these triggers, our Lyra never leaves play. It used to be, for anyone who's kind of newer to the game, the triggers used to be worded in such a way that if you did that, the trigger would resolve, the target would be exiled, but then the creature that did the exiling would be now out of play. Before this, there's another way to explain this, but let me attack first. So if you look at a card like Faceless Butcher from way back in like Onslaught block, I think. We're just going to untap their lands here. The way that was worded was like when Faceless Butcher comes into play, remove target creature from the game, because back then they called exiling remove target creature. Period, line break, when Faceless Butcher leaves play, return that creature back into play. So you'd play Faceless Butcher, stack its come into play trigger. So I'm going to settle here, just because I don't want them to gain the 1 life, so we have lethal next turn. Play the Faceless Butcher, target some big creature on your opponent's side, stack the trigger with the trigger on the stack, the come into play trigger. Then if you sacrificed or otherwise removed the Faceless Butcher from play, while that trigger was still on the stack, the leaves play trigger would now go on top of the come into play trigger. And the leaves play trigger is the one that would return the creature. So the leaves play trigger resolves, there's nothing to return. The Faceless Butcher is now out of the game, into the graveyard or somewhere. You don't want them to gain the life. And then you still have that comes into play trigger that removes the thing permanently. And so you could make decks, and I do believe that there are decks, probably not good decks anymore, but there was at one point decks in like modern stuff that took advantage of the wording on those cards and the stacking of the triggers. There was even a card in Time Spiral that was like a white 1 that had like a tap, remove something from the game trigger, and then you could like tap and untap it a couple times to stack a bunch of remove stuff from the game and then sacrifice it, or yeah. So there's a lot of, they've done good work cleaning up the language, but the Teferi thing, kind of looping back to Teferi. Geez, if we draw White Source, this hand's very good, so let's assume we will. If we draw white, I even like this hand against red, because we have a lot of early interaction. Oh, our opponents are mulliganing again. I'll take anything right now, because I just want to finish this charge to master. Never feel bad syncopating and Eternalized Creature. Saves a lot of headaches. I do feel bad missing a land drop. This is a card I want to play a lot more with once we get to Master 2. Ooh. 27 lands not coming through. Oh, wow. We even get to make use of our negate here. Alright, our opponent must be tilted. When the land screwed opponent still just like counterspells you 3 turns in a row. That resolves. We're okay taking 2 for a little bit while we find our white mana. We're okay taking 4 for a bit while we find our white mana. We just don't want to put those in the graveyard when they have this much mana to spend. Shalai, we have to counter. Because we need to be able to settle these eventually. Or seal them away. Shalai's passive ability here, or I think they call them static abilities in Magic, prevents you from using Settle because Settle targets the player. Unlike other Wrath effects that just happen. We did a pretty good job fighting early. We're just a couple seal aways away though, and then I think they won't have an answer. We need to draw Plains or Glacial Fortress very, very soon. Okay. So we're getting rid of Cast Out. That was a pretty pathetic turn right there. Ooh, it's a little annoying. So the saving grace is that they are at 1 card in hand. I'm a little worried that it's like something that can answer Lyra, but we have to clear the board first with Sealaways and Settles and stuff. So if we draw a White Source here, we're good. Never lucky. So we're going to Teferi and plus, so we have Seal Away, and hopefully Teferi will be a little bit of a lightning rod for something here. So I think Lyra is going to be the way that we win. We're not dead because we do have the Seal Away. We're dead to Shalai if they top deck Shalai, and I have to believe they're playing more than 1. But if we get to untap with Teferi, like I think what we actually want them to do is send everything into Teferi, we seal away, Teferi dies, we stay at 7. Okay, well. If they have anything to protect a Pouncer or pump something, that's fine. Not great, but it's fine. Ugh. What a blowout. 1 White Source to play Lyra here, and I think we can't lose. They're empty-handed. We drew all our basic islands. Yeah, so even if we seal away here, we take exactly 3, which is exactly 1 too many. So that's it. Concede. Yeah, that was pretty free. That was a really free game that we somehow didn't win. But I feel like the deck more often than not doesn't get stuck on white like that. It's pretty rare that I am stranded with nothing to cast. I've just seen a lot of it this morning. Oh yeah, we keep. Search into Settles. And we have double white and double blue, thanks to the farmland. Don't worry, Ichi, I haven't forgotten about you. No, it's okay. We do want this land. So unfortunately Gideon does not interact with that very well. So I think I just play nothing here. I could have played Gideon and plus the land. Would have been at 4 loyalty. But if they had any way to make like... They really want to get in for 4 here, huh? Yeah, so they could have actually just bashed the Gideon down, which would have been embarrassing. We'll see what they do here. And we might just settle this board to get rid of the Shana, which we can't interact with at all. Because I don't think the negate's going to be useful. This is a pretty aggressive settle. Yes, that's a good time to draw a cast out. So I don't want them making tokens off this thing. Making land drops, feeling good about ourselves. So I'm hoping Gideon... Okay, yikes. That card sucks. Graveyard. I think we're just taking and maybe pulling for 3. If they attack with the Dryad, that's great. I don't think they will, because they've seen the one settle already. Angel of Sanctions. That resolves. Alright, I gotta be right back for a second. Okay, sorry opponent. What do we trick them? Are they the ones who are gonna rope out? No. Okay. Alright. So this is an example of a deck that you can never play once Fumigate is in the format. Because this board just gets absolutely crushed. And since we don't have any wraths like that. It's going to be kind of tough for us to engineer a win. We need an Angel. Oh, we're probably just going to lose to unplayable cards, since we don't get to play Fumigates. No thank you. really want them to attack with this Angel so we can seal it away and then set the cast out on the Dryad. Or attack with the Angel in conjunction with a bunch of other stuff, and then we can settle and answer the Dryad. So now we can seal this away while it's tapped. They're not going to attack with the Dryad or the Angel. But we don't want to take 9. So we played a similar game last night that I really wanted to isolate, where it was against like a blue-green ramp deck, and they were playing Sandworm's Convergence, I think that card is called. That makes a 5/5 at the end of every turn, and they had 2 of them going at one point, and we were still able to win, which is like phenomenal. Alright, so we have, that was essentially the perfect draw. So we have to leave up cancel too. So we cast out the Angel to cast out the Dryad. Their board is a lot less threatening. If they play something crazy, we'll cancel it, and if not, we'll just seal this away at the end of turn. And that qualifies as crazy enough. Just don't want more creatures on the board. That's about the same. It's like a 3-mana version of this card. Right? They can ignore this and take it down this turn, but I'm happy if they do that, I guess. That's fine. If we turn the corner, the life gain's not going to matter. Oh, that's kind of a cute way to play around a seal away that I can't cast, since these lands don't tap for white. Okay. So if we find another settle, we have to basically spin the wheel on Azcanta. Into exactly settle. Seal away counts, right? No, cast out counts. We cast out this, only take 1, so. Seal away doesn't answer the knights. There's no way visual indicator to show you what has Teferi. They're working on it, supposedly. So now we can kind of force them to attack Teferi by making an emblem. This buys us a turn. And we have to do the exact same thing. But this is where Azcanta is extremely powerful. So we get to see, between our draw step and between the Azcanta activation, we can see 5 cards a turn. We're very specifically just trying to find the unique answer every turn that helps us. They're not attacking Teferi. So we don't have to actually do anything here. And we know our fourth settle just went to the bottom of the library. But I think settling is still good, because now it makes just our plus activations that much better. And they clearly don't understand how the Gideon emblem works. So we use that to our advantage. We're kind of turning the corner here. If we find a Lyra, I think they are going to have a hard time answering it. They're on top deck mode. We're seeing a lot of cards a turn. Okay. Can't do anything about that. I guess we take Teferi. So now, maybe they realize how Gideon works. Dear friend, this is how Gideon works. We're of course dead to any removal for Gideon at this point, but I wonder if they're gonna send this all at our face again. No, okay. They figured it out. So we probably still lose here. Two, four, six, 8, 10. Yeah. Cancel doesn't do it. That's too bad. We almost turned the corner. I think if we had Lyra at any point, we were okay. That was a good game, though. It shows how well this deck can play. Like, once you get Escanta going. Well, we finished the quest, and this has been a long video. And unfortunately, a long video of a lot of losing with a deck that I've been doing a lot of winning with. But that's kind of been the case whenever I sit down and try to record this stuff. Minus the 1-7 run victory I posted the other day. But a lot of the other stuff I've done either on stream or offline. A lot of the success. But yeah, that's it for this morning. Gotta take care of the dog. Gotta get ready for work. So, hope you enjoyed. And we'll be back with more later.